All right, guys, what's up? So today's Friday. I don't normally do recaps on Fridays. I do sometimes if there's like a good lesson to be learned from it. But today, the reason why I wanted to get on is because it was a little bit of a slower week today in the market. Last week, the week before that, the week before that, and the week before that, we had some crazy action. We had 100% gappers every single day. That was kind of the new normal for the market. It was just pump and dump after pump and dump after pump and dump every single day. And there was a lot of opportunity, right? But the way the market works is always in cycles, right? So there's going to be cycles where the market is hot and where the market is cold. There's going to be cycles where the longs are in control. There's going to be cycles where the shorts are in control. So we've kind of been in a market where everyone is winning, right? So longs are winning and shorts are winning. After having so much action the last couple of weeks, it's only normal for the market to slow down. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is to kind of remind not only you guys, but to also remind myself that we trade when there's opportunity, right? So as a trader, just because you're sitting at the desk does not mean that you are supposed to be rewarded with trades. It does not mean that there's going to be massive opportunity every single day. As traders, we need to remember that we trade when there's an edge. We look for dumb money. We look for stupid PRs. We look for dilution in the filings. We look for a stock or trade that is going to give us a very, very clear edge. And this week, we didn't really have too many crazy setups. We had maybe 100% gainer or like a 50% gainer or like a bunch of random pump and dumps, right? So although I was green 4 days this week, I had one red day. The red day was insignificant. It didn't matter. I think I lost like $70. It's scratch day. I kind of found myself today a little bit in my own head. And I think the reason why I found myself in my own head is because I was so accustomed to trading the crazy action every single day, massive moves, massive opportunities, crazy amounts of money to be made. And this week, I kind of just felt like the opportunity wasn't there. I felt like the edge wasn't there. And in the past, what I would have done is I would have just said, all right, the edge isn't there. Fuck it. I'm still going to trade anyway. But what I've been actively trying to do, at least this week, is when I noticed that the edge wasn't there, I decided to size down, right? So rather than using like my 5,000, 10,000 shares max size, I decided to use 3,000 shares max size. And the reason why is because in trading, you are your own worst enemy. In trading, you are basically fighting a game against yourself, right? You are fighting against your own emotions, your own flaws, your own everything. So I know my flaw is that I can't stop trading. I love it so much, it's a part of me. So rather than taking the day off because I can't fucking do that, I don't like to do it, I decided to size down. And yeah, sure, I didn't make as much money, maybe made like a couple $1,000s every day, which is great. It's not really the end of the world. It's not going to change anything. But I kind of found myself just kind of getting a little bit confused on these setups. So I'll give you an example. Last week we had a bunch of all-day faders. So we had stocks that when the bell rang at 9:30 and the bell rang at 4:30, these stocks would go straight down. So a lot of people this week were trained to hold these stocks longer than usual, which caused a lot of zombie moves, which caused a lot of crazy things to happen. So what I always go back to is the same thing. Sure, a nail and bail type of trade is usually always going to pay the bills. The all day faders, if and when they do come, they're going to give you the big time gain sometimes. For me, what I've realized about my trading is that I trade at my optimal performance when I have the least amount of stress. The least amount of stress for me means using less size, nail and bailing, not holding for home runs, and cutting it off at zombie times. There's a lot of people on the internet these days making a lot of money, whether they're making it from pump and dumps, rather than making it from chat room alerts, rather than making it from whatever. So sometimes it's kind of hard to ignore all that action. Obviously, I see people, I have friends making millions of dollars a month. I have enemies making 100 grand a month. And sometimes it gets in your head, no matter what level you're at. And I think my struggle lately has been I feel like if I size down, I'm doing myself a disservice. But I also remember that the way that I trade optimally is not how someone else trades optimally. If my optimal trades come from being having the least amount of stress, trading for the first hour of the day, why should I deviate from the process that has made me so much money just based on my emotions of seeing other traders make money? So the reason why this video I want to make on a Friday, I want to just kind of share is that, you shouldn't ever be comparing yourself to other traders. Even though I've been trading for 6 years, even though I've made a bunch of money, thank God, knock on wood, I still feel like I underperform in the market. And that's just a mentality thing. That's just me being overambitious, I guess. Uh, I think what we all have to realize is that we all are different types of people. We all have different types of personalities. We are all have different talents. So, because of this, I want to kind of remind you that what is working for you is what you should be focusing on. If you are a type of trader that makes money exclusively on death lines and exclusively on first red days, that should be what you are trading, right? It is okay to step out of your comfort zone and test things, but what happens is you test things with the size that you'd be using on your bread and butter setups. So, what I kind of want you guys to understand is that we are blessed in this market to be having so many inexperienced traders entering it that don't know what the heck they're doing. That gives us experienced, educated traders an edge. So, to exploit that edge, sometimes some people use more size, but I realize that when I use more size, it's actually a detriment to me. It kind of hurts my mentality. It makes me want to be patient. It makes me too emotional. So, what I focus on every single day, as I will continue to focus on every single day, is showing up to the market, making my $2,000 to $4,000 every single day, walking away on the year with 500,000 or $1 million on the year, living my life stress free. Because I've been at the places where you could trade 100,000 shares. I've had 200, 300, 400, 500, $600,000 months. I've done that. But when I did do that, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't leaving the house. And I realized that having less stress and less money is leading to more happiness in my life. So that's what I want to kind of focus on. So that was kind of what I want to talk about before we got into the trades today. So let's get into some trades on the day. So UMRX was one of them. Give me a sec. UMRX was one of them. If you could tell very clearly, pre-market, it topped out at 440, right? So pre-market, it topped out at 440. So what do we always say, guys? Let the stock form its top, and then we will short the bounce. So my best trades, my easiest trades on the day come from the stocks that are broken pre-market that are bouncing, right? 9 times out of 10, I feel that the stocks that break pre-market that bounce at the open fail. So UMRX was a prime example of that. If you look at the chart, you can see I think it was 350 or 370 it hit in the morning, which is exactly where resistance was pre-market. So had you just waited for that 370 level, you would have made your money. It's like in trading, the fundamentals, the beginner stuff like charting, technical analysis, zombie rules are what get you consistent in the first place. And then after you find consistency, for some reason, you try deviating and doing different shit. So I always try to keep it simple. I try to stay to the basics. I try to stick to the process every single day. And UMRX was one of those trades. So let's talk about this WAFU as well. So let me actually pull up the WAFU trade. So WAFU was a stock that kind of ramped up at the open and it did its thing. So what I did is I basically waited for the stock to break down, right? I want to see the death candle. I want to see the under VWAP. And as soon as it did, I took a starter position trying to risk off the $8 mark. So if you could see the price levels here, I just basically shorted the bounce after it broke down. I covered under support, right? I drew my line. And as you can see, look at this support, resistance, 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 resistance. Now resistance breaking and it's acting as support for the stock. So all I'm doing every single day, guys, is I'm sticking to the same freaking process every single day, man. Every single day, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And the days that I deviate is where I have trouble. So again, where did I make my money today? I made my money today on the broken stock pre-market that was bouncing, and I made my money on the hot chick of the day that broke down under VWAP that bounced. I only took a starter. I was hoping it went higher for me to be able to attack it more. But even then, I was still able to make some money on it. So today's lessons are more of a mental lesson. Today's lessons are more of an emotional lesson. Just because this week was slow doesn't mean that next week is going to be hot. Doesn't mean that next week is going to be slow. We never know what's going to happen as traders. In the morning, I wake up and I have no idea what I'm about to trade. So, again, this is a little bit of a maybe shorter, higher level type of video talking about the mentality of a trader. Do you guys have any questions for me? We'll maybe open up to a brief Q&A, and then we'll just call it a day and call it a Friday. Let me close all this shit. Any questions, guys? All right, I'm getting some questions here. What did I do to avoid ALT? I actually shorted ALT and I lost some money on it. I shorted some at $20 and I stopped out at like 21 or something like that. And the reason why I liked ALT as a trade is because it was exactly like UMRX. It was a low-hanging fruit that that tanked pre-market, that bounced at the open. 9 times out of 10, that trade is going to work. The 1 time out of 10 that the trade does not work, I get out for a small loss and I reassess. So basically, what I'm waiting for on ALT is basically waiting for it to go under VWAP, waiting for it to tank, and then basically just going to short pops after that. I think a lot of people are getting in too early on that stock. Do I have a price target or per share in general for trading? No. What I do is I short at resistance, I buy at support. I don't set arbitrary price targets. I don't set arbitrary numbers because your price target doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the technical analysis. What is your process to keep losses very low? I use something called the 30% rule, which we talk about all the time. 30% rule means that if the stock is above VWAP, you are only allowed to use 30% of your size. If it breaks VWAP, you could use 100%. So on the front side of the move, my losses are usually very small because the position sizing is small. Do you do personal one-on-one trading if someone lives close to you? Absolutely not. We have MIC, that's all the trading, all the mentorship that you need. There's nothing different that I'm going to tell you that the videos are going to tell you. How do you find stocks to trade every day? I look at the top percentage gainers of the day. How did I become so disciplined? A good lesson that I give people is that if you are disciplined in your real life, you will be disciplined in your trading life. So that means waking up early. That means sleeping early. That means eating well, maybe working out a little bit. Having a process, a routine in the real world allows you to be disciplined in the trading world. I do not use hotkeys. How many tickers do I trade at a given time? I only trade 1 to 2 stocks at a time because I don't have the bandwidth or the sanity to trade more than 1 or 2 stocks at the same time. What is your advice for revenge trading? So what helps me is after I have a losing trade, I get up and I walk away for 5 minutes. I clear my head and then I come back. If you don't do that, what's going to end up happening is you're going to just try to make back the money instantly and you're going to double your loss. So anytime you have a losing trade, I suggest walking away for about 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, grabbing a coffee and coming back and reassessing. What time frames I use? I use the 1 minute, 5 minute, and daily chart. If everything lines up on all the charts, I'm set. I think that's it, guys. I'm going to call it a day. I'm kind of beat today. So if you have any questions, you could hit us up. You could text Tosh. His number is 213-458-5997. I just feel like a little bit emotionally burnt out. I really don't have any reason to be. I think I'm just getting in my own head. I have problems sometimes thinking too much, and I don't know. This is just kind of me kind of venting a little bit. This is, again, my trading diary, my personal journey. I'm going to look back on this maybe in a year and say, what the fuck was this guy thinking? Or again, guys, I challenge you like a professional athlete to record your footage, to record yourself, to talk to yourself sometimes so that you could really be honest and try to improve on your flaws. So that's it, guys. I will see you on Monday. Do not trade zombie times. And I know I have to fucking fix this beard and fix this hair because I'm starting to look fucking homeless. Thank you.